Hello fellow fashion lovers, welcome back again to the channel. I am Chidima, and in today's video, just like you've already seen on the thumbnail, we're going to be making this beautiful corporate top, which is a good fit or perfect for any corporate event or occasion, be it church or wherever, what have you. And you can pair it with either trouser or skirt, whatever works for you. And if you're wondering what kind of fabric to use to achieve this style, then I must say any fabric at all can go. You can make it with either doll face, bridal satin, Duchess, even our local print, aka Ankara, can go very well too. And then I got part of them all, which is our brown paper here for our beginners. By this right side, this top I made it for a client with a doll face, and you can see how beautiful it looks. If you're interested in this video, let's dive right in. So we're going to take our shoulder measurement, which is 6.5, 6.5, and I will go ahead and mark it here. Then I'll place my tape this way to take the other vertical lines. So from this top here, from the top here, I'm going to come down by 7 inches, which is the armhole, then 10, which is the bust point, 17 is the waistline, then 28, the full length of the paper, of course, will then serve as the full length of the blouse. So for the neckline, I'm going to measure 3 inches for the width, 3 inches, and remember this is the front, so I'm going to come down by 7 inches, but this is dependent on you how deep you want yours to be. So this is 7 inches, and I'm going to connect it here like this. But before then, I'm going to go in by half an inch. I'm going to go in by half an inch here, so that when I open it up, it's like 1 inch, right? So half an inch, I'll mark it. So I'll connect it like this. Okay. So you can see what we have here. All right. So I'll go take my bust measurement. The bust is 8.5. I'll mark it and add 2 inches for allowance. For the waist, I will take 8.5 instead of the actual waist measurement, just so it will fit into the mannequin. I'll mark it here, and then instead of 2 inches I added here, I'll add 1 here. So I'll add 1 inch here to give us a kind of curve, right? Then here at the hemline, I'm just going to mark the waist measurements here. So the waist is 9.75. Waist is 9.75, so I'm going to mark it plus 2 inches for allowance. So I'm going to add all the lines together. So I've gone ahead to connect all the lines, as you can see. So from this point, I'm going to go up. From this hem, I'm going to go up by 3 inches. I think I'll make it 4. Go up by 4 inches, and I'm going to connect it into this point. So I'm going to place my tape. So as you can see what I have. So I'm going to go ahead and cut everything now. So I've cut it out. So I want to show you how I'm going to cut out this V. So when I open it up like this, this is the way it's looking. So let's cut the back part. So I've put the front to the back, the one I'm going to use to cut the back. So I'm going to cut out everything the same. So after cutting that out, the back is still with the front. So the neck width, of course, is going to be the same as the front one, but then the depth is going to be different. I'm going to make the back depth to be 2 inches. So 2 inches for the back depth. So I'm going to curve it into Okay, for our sleeve, I have 2 papers here which I'm going to use to cut the front and back, and you can see I taped it. So it's like 2 papers here. So they are separate, but we're going to use it that way. So from this edge, I'm going to place my tape here, and then I'm going to come down by 5 inches. I'm going to come down by 5 inches. 5 inches. And from there, I'm going to take the brown sleeve. So the sleeve round is 6 plus 2 inches for allowance. So 2 inches. Let me mark this line across. This 5 inches, so mark the line across. So this is the 6 inches that I marked, and this is the ½ inch for the stitching allowance. And then I'm going to mark it like that to this point. I'm not going to reduce it, so everything is just going to be the same. So to get my curve, I'm going to start at this point, and then I'm going to make like an S shape. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it like that. So as you can see what I have, I didn't bother touching this part again because I'm going to like gather it. Okay, so this is that for the sleeve. And sorry, I didn't tell us the full length. The full length is 28. As you can see, 28 inches. Take notice, I haven't stitched the sides yet, so just to show that I stitched. So placing my tape like this, I'm going to measure the neck round. After measuring, I got 24.5, so I'm going to use it to cut the collar now. So I'm going to use this white paper to cut the collar. So I've folded it once. So I'm going to fold it like this to get the width. The width should be about 2 inches. So it should be like 4. I'm going to measure like 4 for 4 inches all the way down. So after cutting it out, I open it up. So this is what I have. Let's get the measurement. we are having 36.25 here, and it's okay, because I would suggest that it's better you have a longer strip than having a shortage of it, because when you don't join in, you can then cut off the excess. That way you're on a safer side. Now imagine it's not up to, what are you going to do? So don't give yourself that stress. Make sure you cut one that is longer. Then when you have excess, it's fine, you can just cut it out. So fold it like this to have 2 inches. Remember we cut 4 earlier, so this is what we have, and I'm going to attach it just like this on this piece. So because of the way I folded it, I already have a center. So find the center, or you can fold it again to find the center, the midpoint. So I have done that. Now remember, this when I was cutting it was on fold, so it already has this sharp edge, which is the center. So placing the center of this strip here to align with the center of this other one, I'm going to use the tape to hold it in place. If this was a normal fabric, of course you would have used what's it called now, pin to hold it. But not that you can't use pin to hold this anyways, but I prefer to use selective, because if I use pin, it's going to end up making holes for me that I would not want. So tape is better for me. Okay, so we're going to sew to this point and sew to this other point too. So I'm done stitching this part, and remember this is the front of the dress. So I've stitched up to this point. So what I'm going to do now is to put this inside. I'm going to raise it up like this, gently raise it up. Then put this one inside, the other one inside. I'm going to flip it over. So I'll flip it over like this. So I'm going to lap this. You can see what we have here, so that we're going to have this at the front. You can see what we have here. So I'm already done stitching it and turning it out. You can see what we have. So for the sleeve, I haven't stitched it yet, so go attach it to the dress. So this is what I'm going to use. This is exactly what I used for the neckline. That's what I used here, but I shared it into two. After cutting out the full length, I shared it into two. But what I have here is 18 inches. As you can see, what I have is 18 inches. 18 inches here. So what I did is to fold it into two to get the center point or the midpoint, whichever one. The center or the midpoint. Fold it like this to get that midpoint. Now I'm going to, for this sleeve, I'm going to fold it like this. I'm going to go up here first of all by 2 inches. I'm going to go up by 2 inches and I'll mark it. I'll slant and then here I'm going to come out by 1 inch. 1 inch from there. So I'm going to slant my tape like this, or use your rule and then connect it to meet this other line, and then we're going to cut it out. So after that, I'm going to fold in some inches here. I'm going to make like a pleat here, and when I measure here, depending on your wrist measurement, this is it's not a standard, so you check your wrist. What I have here is 4, so I'm going to use my tape to hold it. If you're working with paper, I think you might be needing tape. It's a compulsory item that you'll be needing, except you prefer to use pin to hold it. You know, if this were to be your normal fabric, right, you're still going to need pin where necessary to hold it when you have to. But since this isn't a normal fabric, personally I feel like using pin to hold it will kind of not really suit, I mean it will give it that hole when you are taking off the pin. So that is why I prefer to instead use a tape to hold it like you're seeing me do here. So if you're going to be working with paper, practicing with paper, I think you should consider getting a tape. So when I have this, I'm going to then go and stitch. I'm going to sew up this place. After that, I'm going to then use this from this center point, attach it to this place, then stitch to this side like this. After I must have stitched this place, then I'll place this here and then stitch to this point, then the next side stitch to this point, and that will be the end. Okay, so I'm done stitching this part. Now, the sleeve, I'm done stitching it up. So I'm going to then open this place. Remember the center that I folded to get, I will place it there at that point that I stitched. Then I'll use my needle and thread. So you can see I'm done stitching it now. Then after that, you can then turn it off gently. And so